FXPassion, broadcasting live on YouTube. Hello Miguel, hello George, how are you? And this is Forex Trading Course 101. Remember the three pillars. We are trying to build a strategy or a system. We need to understand risk management and how does it work, and we need to understand the big one, which is the emotional intelligence, the psychology part. If this is your first time with us, everybody, so we are in the beginner module. We are not in the basic anymore, and we are learning how to trade with trend lines, trend, support, resistance, pivot points. Hello boss! Hello Annie, how are you? How to trade pivot points, candlestick formations. Okay, we are trying to upgrade your knowledge, everybody. Remember, 90% of traders lose money in the Forex market worldwide, and the webinars are not trading or investment advice. The webinars are for educational purposes only. And don't trade with money you cannot afford to lose. And for homeworks and questions, you have my Gmail contact, my Skype contact, and my LinkedIn contact. That being said, let's dive into the live charts. And we are going to answer a question. And George was asking yesterday how we were talking about AUD/USD, right? AUD/USD, let me check. AUD/USD. It was AUD/USD, George, and we were talking about different. Not this one. Was AUD or was AUD/JPY? What was it yesterday? I think it was AUD/USD, right? And George was asking how can Eddington and Miguel win. What was the... Oh, there you go. I found the chart. Hopefully. Let me see until the end. Just give me a second, everybody. Canada JPY not to do. Oh, there you go. There you go, everybody. This is from yesterday. We were talking about how to trade pivot points in a downtrend, and we ended the webinar. Hola. Hola, Eddington. And we said, right? We said that, well, most likely, it depends on your account, we would lose on this trade, right? And then I said, well, maybe, maybe if you would put your stop loss, but this is luck, George, okay? If they were lucky to put the stop loss down in here, right? You don't have the crystal ball, okay? And when it happens all the time, everybody, maybe you enter in the wrong place at the wrong time and you just go to sleep, and when you wake up you are going to see this, right? You are going to see this, and you are going to see that the market just made a lower low. So technically speaking, structure speaking, you know that you entered in the wrong direction. And then, George, to answer a question where and when, well, there is no right or wrong, but if this were me, if I'm at break even, I'm just closing the trade. No luck. Yeah, okay, but sometimes we get lucky, right? The market is not going to stop us out. But George was asking how could they win? Right? Well, if this was me and I entered in the wrong place and I wake up, right? I woke up and I see this, I'm out. I don't think. Or you went to travel, right? And you got back, you open your platform and you are here. So you close your chart, you close your trade. If you sleep for 3 weeks, maybe. It's just an example, yes. The daily chart, everybody, is just an example. It happens. This happens on all time frames, all currency pairs. Okay, George? But as Eddington said yesterday, in all fairness, most likely they would be stopped out. Okay? 10 pips, 100 pipettes, and most likely, in all fairness, the market would stop us out. Victor, Mr. Passion, I have a question. You said in one of your videos stock and Forex are not the same for you, that will be the different and how you will treat each of them. We are technical trader. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How I'm going to treat stock? Oh, Eddington, help me please. Yes, thank you. Help me out. So if the trade goes bad, you change the take profit and you keep the stop loss. So if the trade goes bad, you change the take profit and you keep the stop loss. George, I don't understand your question. I don't think so. I don't think so. But this is one of the... Some of you send email questions, right? And it's similar to what George is asking. So what happens when the trade goes against me? Where to go out, what to do, right? And Eddington, if you can answer to Victor, I'm going to be very grateful to you. Okay, so let's answer to George and to some of you send the email. What we have learned so far, right? We have learned, and this is just an example, we have learned structure and we have learned the short-term trends direction. Okay, and this we have structure on all time frames, and we have trend direction short-term on all time frames, right? This could be any pair. Okay, now let's say that we are going to enter shorting the market here. This is going to be our entry. Okay, and we said that, well, the most logical place to put a stop loss is above structure. Of course, if we have sufficient funds and everything. And we said also that if we are going to risk one, right, we need to go after two. This is the minimum. So if I'm risking one, well, just graphically, one more clone, I need to go after two, right? And Eddington is answering to Victor. With stocks, you have hundreds of thousands of companies with each having their own fundamental data, earnings, etc. So each stock can move in different directions and they are independent. Thank you, Eddington. Victor, did Eddington answer to you? Okay, so we are here, everybody. Now, your question is, what happens if the trade starts to go against you, right? And the answer is, what do you think, everybody? What should you do? What should you do? Eddington is continuing. Forex, however, you have a finite number of countries. In the hundreds, we also live in a world economy, so fundamentals play less of a role, and you are always pitting one currency against another. Wow, thank you, Eddington. Thank you, Eddington. Everybody, the short-term trend, we entered selling the market, but the short-term trend just went against you. Should you close your trade? Should you close your trade? George was asking, and some of you were sending the email, well, if the market is going against me, what should I do? And George is asking, well, if the trade is going against, so what? So should we change our take profit and just let our loss run? What should we do? What do you think, everybody? There is no right or wrong. Miguel, Eddington, you have more experience. George, what do you think, my friend? Mitzal, if you are online. Max, if you are online. MJ, if you are online. Annie, what do you think? Should you close your trade? What should you do? Should you stay in the trade because you have your stop loss in a safe place? And George said, well, no, we don't close the trade. We have the stop loss for this purpose. What do you think, Eddington, Miguel, Annie? Victor, some of you are asking what to do when the trade goes against you. Till the stop loss, do nothing. Okay. Eddington, okay. Third question more regarding the way on the technical. How do we play it in a different what we are learning? You have to be confident on your decision. Stay in. The price might reverse again any minute. Everybody, the answer is this: there is no right or wrong. Okay. Now you can stay in and wait for the market, right, to make a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and stop you out. Okay, this is one way. Stay in, right? Why is that? Well, because we don't have a crystal ball, and as Miguel says, maybe in some point in time it's going to reverse finally, right? Maybe in here, maybe in here. There is no right or wrong. And George is saying, but if we realize later that the market trend changed, then you said in the previous example that we can change the take profit. Okay. Victor, listen, not Victor, George, listen to me. Okay. If you are in the right place, okay, then you are not changing your take profit. If you entered correctly with the structure and with the short-term trend, well, you don't change your take profit. Okay? But if you entered in the wrong place, let me see if I can clone this. Clone. Hopefully. Wow. But if you entered in the wrong place, let's say that I am buying, right? Instead of going short, I'm going to go long. Okay, I'm buying here. This makes sense, right? Technically speaking, I have a down structure, I have an extension down leg, and the market is making lower lows, lower highs, so I want to short the market. So if you are here and that if the market is going against you, you don't change your take profit. However, if you find yourself, you analyze the market in a wrong manner, you didn't see what you should see, the confirmation time frame is telling you a different picture than your trading time frame. If you get in here, then the answer is yes. You should close your trade as soon as possible. Okay, George? Okay. You don't need to wait for the stop loss, and you don't need to wait for the take profit. If you are in profit, close the trade. If you have a small loss, just close the trade. Don't even think. Okay? Eddington is asking, do you mean how do we use the technical analysis differently in the two markets? Yes, it's any different. Yes, yes. Victor, the Forex market most of the time is not fundamentally driven. Okay? The stocks, they are. The Forex market is not. At least not most of the time. Okay? And comparing to stocks, the Forex market is most technical. Okay? I'm not saying that fundamentals are not important, but it's most technical. Okay. Okay, everybody, if the market is going against you, or there is no right or wrong, stay in the trade, or we learned about the trend lines, right? So you are here and this is the short-term trend, right? And as soon as the market reverses, if this is the example, you have the downtrend line, right? Let's say that we shorted the market in here. This was our short trade. Okay, this was our short trade, but the short-term bulls and bears are fighting, and you have the downtrend line break. Well, you can close your trade in here, right? But you need, what is the difference? The difference is you need to monitor the market in here. If you are going to close your trade with the small stops, with a small loss, you should monitor the market. Why is that? Well, because even though the market is going against you, if you are in the positioned in the right direction, sooner or later the counter trendline break is going to happen, right? So there is no right or wrong, number one. Number two, if you are going to close your trade with a small loss, then you need to monitor the market to re-enter the trade. Why is that? Well, you are positioned in the right direction. Okay? Any questions so far about what to do if the market is going against you? And remember, I have a 20 seconds delay on the chat. Okay, no questions. How to trade support and resistance in a sideways channel. Great. Let's open a new chart. Let's open AUD-JPY monthly chart. Even at the biggest news change of interest rate, the Forex market, a change of a few percent, the stocks can change at least 10 times more. Yes, George, correct. Yes, sir. Okay, everybody. So what are we learning in the basic module? Oops, not in the basic, in the beginner module are the pivot points, right? What else? Is the resistance, what else? Support, right? Support. Okay, now this is support, I think, right? Yes, support. And do we have some other pivot point? Let me check. Maybe where? Upside down. There you go. And resistance. Let me see. Okay. So we have two support, two pivot points, one resistance. Okay. Now, what we need to learn, everybody, is that this kind of behavior happens time to time, sometimes, right? And is predictable. Not the perfect example, but still, okay. You are going to have sideways channels on every time frame, okay? But the title of today is connected to the big support, resistance and pivot points area, okay? It's not an, yes, thank you Eddington. Thank you Eddington, thank you George. It's not uncommon, everybody, that two pivot points are going to maintain the market bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? Not in here, this is support linked to a pivot point, okay? But still, as you can see, it was bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Okay, now we need a better example. Let me see if I can find maybe AUD-CAD, AUD-CAD. Oh, okay, AUD-CAD. So resistance, support and pivot point number one. There you go, and clone one more, right, hitting here. Okay, there you go, everybody. George and Eddington, especially George, my friend, okay, do you think that we have enough data? We don't have the crystal ball, right? Do you think that we have enough data, everybody, to spot the pivot point area, and this is the monthly chart, to spot the other pivot point area. Do you have enough data? Everybody, if you are questioning, if you are thinking, oh, we don't have enough data, please type in the chat. Okay? Because we are going to do a trading exercise, and we don't have the crystal ball. We are going to learn how to trade support and resistance in a sideways channel. Okay? This happened on AUD/JPY. We are going to check AUD/CAD. It's a better example. And I have a 20 seconds delay on the chat. Okay, so are we okay, everybody? Now, question number 1. Let's see if you learned anything, everybody. Should we go short? Should we go short? We are in here. Should we go short or should we go long? What should we do? There is no right or wrong, everybody. Should we go short or should we go long in here? What do you think? Should we go short? You can say short, you can say long, you can say I don't know. How do we confirm that we are at the sideways channel by the time is it clear it is also finished? You are going to learn this right now, George. Okay, you are going to learn this right now. Okay, first we learn this, everybody. How many highs and lows define a trend, everybody? And George, this question is for you, my friend. How many highs and lows define a trend? And he says, I think long. Okay, and you want to go long. Let's go step by step, right? For the beginner trader, how many highs and lows define a trend? It could be an uptrend, it could be a downtrend. Can't tell where you mean. At the end of the chart, so then short. Annie wants to go long, Eddington wants to go short. Great. There is no right or wrong. And George says 2, right? 2 highs, 2 lows. Correct. Okay, George. And everybody else, yes, 2 highs and 2 lows. So, and George said, how do we confirm that we are in a sideways channel by the time is it clear, is it also finished? So, when you have a minimum 2 highs and 2 lows in the same area, what is this? Here you have 2 highs and 2 lows. It's a minimum, right? Minimum 2 highs and 2 lows. And the second high and the second low is a higher high and a higher low. In a downtrend, you need to have a minimum of 2 highs and 2 lows, and the second low and the second high must be a lower high and a lower low. What about this in here, everybody? You have 2 highs and 2 lows. What is this one? George, what is this one? The arrow is pointing at. What is this one? Is this an uptrend? Or is this a downtrend? What is this one? What is this one, everybody? I'm asking all of you. George is just courageous to ask questions. So, congratulations to you. Don't be shy. What is this one? A channel. Sideways. George, what do you think? Annie says this is a channel. Miguel says this is sideways. Uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. Downtrend, lower lows, lower highs. Sideways movement, sideways channel. Annie and Miguel, how do you know that this is a sideways channel? That the market is sideways or channel? How do you know? we have equal highs, most likely, right? Not to the pip, it's an area. We have equal highs, most likely, okay? And we have equal lows. And George, to answer to your question, we learned this. We need, in order to confirm the channel, we need a minimum of 2 lows and 2 highs. It's a minimum, you can have more, but we need minimum 2 highs and 2 lows. Yes, any equal. And George is saying, in the beginning we are immediately after the previous trend, so it takes some time to realize that the sideways is not anymore part of the trend. Well, a sideways channel, I would say it is part of the trend, and if we wait for more highs and lows, then the sideways finished. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you go on the smaller time frame, you are going to have 10, 20 highs and lows. So the answer is, George, the answer is it depends on the time frame. Okay? But we have enough information in here to make this trading exercise. Okay, so if there are no objections, everybody, we have enough data to spot the first pivot point, right? The market hit from the upside down and from the downside up, and we have enough data to spot the second pivot point, right? Any objections, everybody? If you are thinking, oh, we don't have enough data, please type in the chat box, no problem. Okay. And Annie wants to go long, Eddington wants to go short, right? Now, we are trying to upgrade your knowledge, everybody. There is no right or wrong. Who is in the better place, technically speaking? Is in the better place Eddington, that wants to short the market, or Annie? She wants to go long. What do you think? And we learned in the previous lessons, when the market is approaching a pivot point, you should stay out, you shouldn't buy. But you want to buy in here. Why do you want to buy? And yes, maybe I wasn't clear enough. We are here. This is the chart. There you go. Eddington wants to go short. So we are talking about trading. We are talking about trading in here, right? Miguel says short. Yes, short. Okay. So when you are approaching the pivot point, you shouldn't go long in here, right? We learned about pivot point in a downtrend. We learned about how to trade pivot points in an uptrend. Okay, today we are going to learn how to trade support and resistance in a sideways channel. I did not. Okay, no problem. Okay, so short, right? Okay, now even though we don't have the confirmation, everybody, okay, this is what you should learn today. Even though we don't have the confirmation that this is going to be a sideways movement, a sideways channel, at least you know what? You know that if you are going to short the market, right, when the market gets near the lower pivot point, what should you do? And this is just an example. It could be, we have here on AUDJPY, right, we have sideways movement between a level of, whoops, not this one, between a level of support and a pivot point, right? Could be pivot point and resistance, sideways movement, sideways movement, sideways movement, right? So we don't have a confirmation yet, that this is going to be a sideways movement. Agreed? But at least we have learned that we are going to go short. Why is that? Because the long-term bias is down, right? And the market looks like hit the pivot point area. It's making bearish candlestick formations, which we are going to learn, and we are going to short the market. Okay, now what we have learned so far is that when the market is going to get near the lower pivot point, we shouldn't sell anymore. Okay, now one more thing. When the market is going to hit or approach the pivot point, one or two things are going to happen. Which one are those things, everybody? We learned so far this. So the market is approaching a pivot point. One or two things are going to happen. Which one? Yes, Miguel? Candlestick formation and counter trail and break. Yes, sir. But we didn't learn about candlestick formations yet, so we are going to use just counter trend line breaks for the entries. Okay, now let's go step by step. When the market is going to approach the pivot point, one or two things are going to happen. Which one? What are those things that can happen? And as a beginner trader, everybody, you need to have a plan. I'm going to short the market. This is the easy part. What are you going to do when the market is going to approach the pivot point? You need to have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, you are going to react. Okay? And George says break or reverse. Yes, sir. Exactly. Congratulations, George. So, or is going to do this, or is going to hit or get nearby because it's an area, and then is going to reverse. Okay. And here we go. When and if the market is going to reverse, then what we are going to do? We are going to draw a counter trend line break, a counter trend line. It's not a break yet. We are going to draw a counter trend line on the downtrend, short-term downtrend, and we are going to buy. Okay? This is what we are going to do. A great example is NZD-CAT at this point in time. NZD-CAT. NZD-CAT, everybody. Pivot point, right? And this is what? Resistance, right? So, okay, it's a great example. It happens on all time frames, all currency pairs. Okay, so how to trade pivot points and support and resistance, how to trade sideways channels, it's always the same. Okay, oh, Passion, but I don't like these strategies. No problem, trade what you are and what you feel comfortable with. Okay, you don't need to trade sideways channels, you don't need to trade pivot points, you don't need to trade support and resistance. If you don't like, if you don't understand, no problem. But you need to know, and you need to learn, because you need to explain why, right? Oh, I just lost. Well, why did you lose? Oh, because the market reversed near the pivot point. You need to know this stuff, okay? You don't need to trade this if you are not comfortable, but you need to understand how the market works. And you need to have self-confidence, everybody. The market is not this mysterious creature, you know, that, oh man, it's impossible to win. And no, we have concepts, we have rules, right? Okay. So what we're going to do, we are going to short the market, okay, and then we are going to see now how to trade this. We are going to wait, everybody. We are going to wait and see what is going to happen in here. Meaning we are going to monitor. Okay, we're going to monitor, and we are going to see if we are going to see that the market is changing trends, then we are going to enter the market long. How to do this? You go on this smaller time frame. Okay, so this is the monthly chart, and when the time comes for me to see and to monitor what is happening, I'm going to go on the, maybe not the weekly, but I'm going to monitor this on the daily chart. Why the daily chart? I'm going to have more candles, I'm going to have more market waves, I'm going to have more extension, retracement, okay? So it's difficult to see from the monthly, but it's easier to see from the daily, right? And one more thing, well, I don't have the trillions and the zillions, so I cannot trade the monthly, but I can sure trade the daily. Okay, so I'm going to put a horizontal line here, and I'm going to move on the daily chart. Daily chart. Okay, daily chart. There you go. We are here. Okay, let's remove. Let's wait. Let's wait for the software. It's slow today. Come on, come on. Okay, there you go. I'm going to remove this one, right? I'm going to remove the circle. I'm going to remove this circle. There you go. I'm going to remove this circle. So I'm going to compress the chart, right? Compress the chart. There you go. And Eddington said, and me too, right? We are going to short the market. So let's see. Extension, retracement, extension. Right, and we are here right now. Okay, now let's dive into the chart. Let's get bigger candles. Okay, and I am going to enter the trade in here, right? Okay, I'm going to enter the trade in here. I have a downtrend line, this one. Let me see, transparency, color, red, like this. Okay, and I'm going to put my stop loss up in here somewhere. 15 pips, 100 pipettes. Okay, I'm going to short the market. Now remember, we are trying to teach you how to trade support and resistance in a sideways channel. Okay, now when this happens, everybody, the sideways channel, we are going to do what? We are going to go on the smaller time frame. In this case, it's going to be the daily. Okay, it's going to be the daily. And when you have a confirmed sideways channel, then what we are going to do? We are going to short the counter trendline break. Okay, so we are going to short here, and then when it's going to approach or the pivot point or support or resistance, whatever, then we are going to buy the counter trendline break. This is going to be black. And again, if you are not comfortable, everybody, you don't need to trade this. Okay, there you go. This is what we are trying to do. Okay, so far we don't have a confirmation. We don't have a confirmation that this is a sideways channel, but we are shorting the market because the market hit the upper band and the long-term bias, right? And we have the pivot point, so we are shorting the market because of this. Now let's see what is happening. The market is going up, right? And we have another counter. Let's color code this in black. We are monitoring the market, counter trendline break, right? Some of you are going to enter right now. Let's see, the market is moving down, moving. Okay, we have another retracement, extension, retracement, extension, another counter trendline break. We are shorting the market, right? And let me see, the market is going up, we are extending our counter trendline, and again the market make a dip, retracement, and moving sideways, finally falling, right? So this was a deep retracement. Let me check. I think this is still a higher high. Yes, still a higher high. Okay, so it was a deep retracement, extension, and the market is falling until here, right? So we have another counter trendline break in here. I mean another counter trendline break, another opportunity. The market's moving sideways, falling back again, right? This was the new retracement, the new extension, and we are finally here, right? Now this is from the daily chart. We are approaching the pivot point area. Okay, now as I said, what we are going to do, we are going to monitor from the daily chart, or is going to happen this, as George said, or is going to break the pivot point, or maybe because this is an area is going to change direction, right? And when this is going to happen, we have a how many percent confirmed sideways movement, everybody. From the monthly, it's like this and like this, right? And it's doing this. So this is still a speculative, but we learned what makes a 100% confirmed downtrend. We learned what is a 100% confirmed uptrend. The same goes for the sideways channel, right? So what is this? This is 25, 25, 25. So it's still high risk, everybody, and of course there are no guarantees, right? But if the market is going to change direction, and I have two equal lows, right? I'm missing what? I'm missing one last high, right? To confirm the sideways channel. Okay, so some of you are going to enter trading, some of you won't. No problem, there is no right or wrong. But if you are going to enter in here, this is still high risk, because you don't have minimum two highs and two lows with highs in equal range and lows in the equal range. And it says 75%. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now let's see what is going to happen. We are approaching a pivot point, and now there is no right or wrong, but I'm not going to short this counter trend line. It's up to you, everybody. There is no right or wrong. And black, there you go. Okay, if I'm in here, I'm not going to short this one. You can, there is no right or wrong. We don't have the crystal ball. Okay, and again, if you are thinking and wondering why should I have pivot points from the monthly on the daily and 1 hour, 2 hour chart, this is the reason. One of these two things are going to happen. Right, now let's see, market moving down, moving up, right? So this was the extension. Okay, now this could be just okay, now I'm going to delete this. I'm going to wait a little bit, everybody. Tell me what happened in here. What happened in here? What is this telling you? There is no right or wrong. What is this telling you? Should you go short still? Should you go long? And I'm going to put a horizontal line here, because in the meantime that I'm waiting for your answers, I'm going to move from the daily to the monthly again. Monthly. Okay? And I'm going to delete the previous counter trend lines and structures and the market wave and the retracements and the extensions. Okay? You need to train this, everybody, in order to spatially see what is happening in the market. You need to train yourself. Okay? So from the monthly standpoint, we are here. Okay? What is this telling you, everybody? You can say, yes, maybe it's a change in the short-term trend, you know. You can say, well, this doesn't say to me anything, I'm going to short the market because we are near the upper band and the market's making lower lows, lower highs, and we have a down structure, right? You could be thinking like this. There is no right or wrong. Okay? You can say, oh, I'm going to short because I'm going to enter at a better place or a better value. Any? Yes. Okay, so this is the monthly chart, right? Now, talking about sideways channel, we have 1, 2, we are missing one more, right? On the right. This is not a low yet, not confirmed. We don't have 2 on the left and 2 on the right. We need one more, right? But still you can speculate it's a 75%, right? Maybe, okay? But you know that the market is so far, and this is a fact now. This is not a speculation anymore, this is a fact. You can see that the market until here is locked inside these 2 pivot points. Do we agree on that, everybody? The market didn't break, right? It reversed with the, we didn't learn about the bullish and the bearish candlestick formations, but it didn't break, it didn't even touch. But we know that pivot points are areas. So this is a fact now, it's not a speculation anymore. The market is locked so far, we don't have a crystal ball. It's locked inside this sideways channel. Okay? Now, horizontal line again. Let's move on the daily chart. Okay? And let's wait for the software. There you go. Okay? So we said that we are here, right? And what happened? The market broke the structure high from the downtrend, and I'm going to draw another horizontal line here. What can we do? We don't have the crystal ball, right? But on the smaller time frame, what we can do? Well, we can draw trend lines. So this is one trend line, and let's make it like this. Transparency, there you go. I'm going to delete this one, and you have another more aggressive one if you want, right? You have one more in here. Let me see, 1, 2. Those are the 3 trend lines, okay? And we are here right now. We are here right now. Let me see, wait, okay, this is the blue line. Now, what else can we do? We can draw a counter trend line. So this in here, right? Okay, I'm going to delete this one, it's not relevant anymore. This one, it's not relevant anymore. Okay, so we are here. What should we do, everybody? What should you do? Should you go short? Should you go long? We can draw another trend line, right? Up in here, another trend line like this, another trend line like this. Okay, what should you do? Should you wait? Should you monitor this thing? Should you... But the fundamental question is, what should you do right now? Should you try to buy the market, or should you try to sell the market? Should you buy the market and why, or should you sell the market and why? And in the meantime that you are thinking that between the should you buy the market and should you sell the market, which one, technically speaking, has less technical risk, and which one, technically speaking, has more technical risk? Wait, you are in the middle of the channel. Yes, teacher Annie, but I want to make money. And this is the daily chart and I don't want to wait for 2 months. You are right, Annie, but I want to trade, you know. I want to buy a Porsche and a Maserati and whatever, you know, a BMW. I want to travel around the world. I want to make money. I don't want to stay out all of this time. So what should I do? George says sell. Great. There is no right or wrong, everybody. George says sell. Okay, now let's see. Remember what we learned in the lesson number 1. The first lesson of this course. The first lesson. Lesson number 1. If you go on Ducascopy webinar page, or the Ducascopy YouTube page, lesson number 1. What did we learn? We learned that when the market gets, and this is the monthly chart, touches or gets near the upper line, we should go short, and when the market touches the lower line, we should go long. And one more, we also learned that trading is easy up in here and that is easy down here, but gets extremely difficult even for the professional traders when the market is in between the range. Miguel says both options are risky for what Annie says. Yes, great. There is no right or wrong. I agree with you. But this is what we learned on the lesson number 1. Trading is easy up in here, easy down in here, but it gets extremely difficult in between. And this concept applies also here. Right? Now, some of you want to go long, some of you want to go short, right? Okay. Some of you are staying out, no problem. Okay. Now, what did we have? We have an up trend line break, right? And the market is moving down, moving sideways, right? Still falling down, right? George is happy, is making money, pips and money, right? And we are here, let's see. The market is moving sideways, finally. Moving sideways. Bulls and the bears are fighting for control. And finally, we are here again. Congratulations, George. You won on your trade. Now we have here, what do we have here? We have another counter trendline break. One more minute, everybody. What is different this time is that from this entry in here, it was not that easy, but what is different from this time to these opportunities here? Now we have a confirmed sideways channel. From the monthly standpoint, we have two highs and 2 lows, right? 2 equal highs most likely and 2 equal lows. So now this opportunity is different than this one, right? We had here 75. Now because the market retraced and changed for the second time, now we have 2 lows and 2 highs. This was the second high, everybody, that we were looking for. Close to the of the channel green lines, the risk to go short is smaller than going long. Close to the of the channel green lines, the risk to go short is, yes, but don't forget, everybody, don't forget, sooner or later the market is going to break out of the channel. Yes, George? Correct? Okay. Now here, this is an example where and when, if you want, you can go long, and we are out of time. Let's see what is going to happen. Market moving sideways, right? Maybe not the best entry, but you have a counter trend line here and moving sideways. Maybe we lost this one, the market went sideways, right? And finally broke out of the area, but then again, and we are going to address this tomorrow, okay? When again there was a time to go, finally to go long on this one, okay? But we're going to talk, we're out of time, everybody. We're going to talk about this opportunity tomorrow. Okay, stay strong and trade with passion. This is FXPassion signing off.